Good morning, boys and girls, and happy hump day. It's Wednesday, and it's time for our math problem. I hope you're doing okay on this really, really cold morning. We're going to do a pretty difficult problem this morning, so I want you to really make sure you stay with me. What I want you to do is I want you to set up the problem like this. And again, we're going to put our boxes in the middle. So you're going to set up your problem like normal, and then what we're going to do is we're going to walk through it together. So I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we'll be back to do your problem. Okay, so here's the problem of the day. Corey picked 25 strawberries. Savan gave him some more. Now Corey has 35 strawberries. How many did Savan give Corey? Now, it doesn't tell us how many he gave him, right? And that's what we're trying to figure out. So it's kind of tricky how we're going to figure this out. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So let's get started. Over here, we're not going to draw our 10 frames because it's going to be too much. So what we're going to use is those quick 10s and 1s. And I want to show you how we're going to do that. So it said that Corey started out with 25. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 sticks and 1s. So I've got 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there's 25 that he has. Now, Savan gives him some more, and now he has 35. Okay, so this is what he starts with. Now he has 35. Let's put a little arrow, and let's draw 35. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So my question to you is this. What is different from the first one to the second one? So let's think about it. I heard 25 and I heard 35. In my mind, the 5 hasn't changed, right? So the 5 hasn't changed. So that tells me that the 10s have changed. So if I look at my 10s, I know over here I have 2 10s, and over here I have 3 10s. So the difference is this 110 right here. I want you to circle that. That's the extra that Savan gave to them. So Corey got 10 extra from Savan. So if I fill out this the way we normally would, I have 2 10s and 5 1s, and I have 3 10s and 5 1s. So I went from 25 to 35, which is 10 more. So my answer is 10. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fill in a number bond. And these are pretty big numbers. I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've never done one this big. Okay? Now, we are going to put the 35 up here. And that's how many strawberries he had. Okay? Actually, I'm going to put ST for strawberries. Now, I know Corey had 25. Okay? So we're going to label that C for Corey. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to punch 25 and count up. And let's see what we come up with. So we have 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 10. Does that 10 match that 10? Absolutely it does. So now we have 10 here and 10 here. And we're going to put S for Savan. Okay? You follow me so far? So even though the numbers are bigger, our strategies are still the same. You can still punch a number out. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to plug our numbers into our 10s frames, our 10s and 1s frames. So we started with 25, and then we went on to 35. Okay? So like I said, the only digit that changed, I'm looking right here at the 10s, is that there. So if I take this 3 and I compare it to the 2, I know there's one more 10. So my number sentence is going to look like this. It's going to look like it could look like two different things. It could look like 35 minus 25 equals 10. Or what I could say is 25 plus 10 equals 35. Kind of crazy, huh? We're going to get into this coming up here in the next few lessons, but I don't want you to concentrate on that now. I want you to see, though, that it is still part of a fact family, even though those numbers are bigger. Look at, we used 35, we used 25, and we used 10. And we know fact families use the same three numbers. So don't forget to put your 10 here. And actually, I'm going to box this because that's my answer is 10. And now my question was, how many did Savan give him? We can put the 10 here, and we're going to say, Savan gave Corey 10, and I'm going to put a box around it, strawberries. And that is what we call a complete answer. Can you tell they're getting a little more difficult? So it's going to really require you to pay attention. And I know it's so hard to pay attention, especially when you're at home and you've got other things you're looking at and your toys are at home. But I need you just for this little short period of time to stay with me and try to work through this. And as we go on, you're going to be like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Okay, we're ready for our counting piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to count today using beep counting again. But this time I have my hundreds chart with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the camera forward so that you can only see the hundreds chart. And I want you to really pay attention to the patterns in what I say, because it's easy to see the counting by ones, but I really want to focus on counting by tens today. And we're not just going to start by 10, 20, 30, and so on. We're going to be a little different today. So take a look at the hundreds chart. You should be able to see it pretty clear now, hopefully. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with 32. Now, we're not going to just go 32, 33, 34 because that's counting by ones. We're actually going to be counting by tens. So we're going to go start here. We're going to count by tens. When I say beep, you need to say the next number. Ready? 32, 42, 52, beep. That's right, 62. How about 45, 55, 65, 75, beep? Very good. How about 27, 37, 47, 57, beep? What are you noticing? I hope that you're noticing that each time you jump down a box, you're adding 10. And the only digit that's changing is the tens digit. So when you jump down from 25 to 35, the only digit that's changing is the 2 to a 3, just like it did in our problem before. So I want you to really be paying attention to that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back down. Now we're going to count backwards by tens. So let's take a good close look at the hundreds chart again. So this time, let's start with 95. So we're going to go 95, 85, 75, 65, beep. How about 78, 68, 58, 48, beep. And if you can, try to do it by closing your eyes. Just listen to my words and see if you can do it without looking. Ready? 82, 72, 62, 52, beep. Were you able to do it? If not, it's okay to look. That's why I have this here. Let's do one more. Ready? 31, 21, 11, beep. So I think you've got it. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep practicing counting forwards and backwards by tens, because you don't have to just start on the even 10. You can go from any number you want. And if you jump down a box, you know that's adding 10. If you jump up a box, you know that you're subtracting 10. Okay, get ready for your lesson. You'll need your green workbook. Okay, we're ready for our lesson. So today we're going to do two parts to our lesson. The first part is comparing numbers using the words greater than or less than. Greater than, like we explained yesterday, means bigger, and less than means the smaller number. So it wants to know, is the first number bigger than the second number, or is it smaller than the second number? Now, the way we do this is we read it just like a book. So we always have to read from left to right. You don't start the opposite way because it doesn't work that way. So what you need to do is you need to look from left to right. We're going to take a look at some numbers right now. So I have two 10 sticks and two ones. So I have 10, 20, 21, 22. So I have 22 here. Over here I have one 10 stick and two ones. So I have 10, 11, 12. So what I want to know is 22 greater than, less than, or equal to the number 12? Well, it's bigger, so we need to say 22 is greater than 12. Now, what happens if I move the 22 so that it's over here? So now I have 12 over here and 22 over here. Well, that's a different story. That sentence reads, 12 is less than 22. So think about that. Isn't 12 smaller than 22? Absolutely. So it's all in how you read it. I couldn't say 12 is greater than 22 because it's not. So you have to just really listen to the sentence. Okay? The other thing we're going to do is we're going to be looking at ordering numbers. What that means is that we're going to be putting numbers in order from least to greatest, meaning smallest to biggest. And then we're going to flip it around and we're going to do it from biggest to smallest. And there's a way we do that, okay? So let's take a quick look. We have the numbers 29, 38, 7, 14, and 24. Okay? So the first time we put these numbers in order, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the smallest number, the least. And then we're going to go to the biggest number, which is the greatest. Now, remember what I told you. We're going to be looking at the tens to see what number we're using. So if I look here, all of these numbers have tens except for this one. Well, if all of my numbers have 2 digits and I only have one number that's a 1-digit number, that's going to be your smallest number, okay? Because you have to remember that means there's a 0 in the 10 spot before that single digit. So if I want to do this, I'm going to go ahead and put the number 7 on my first line, okay? And I have to cross this out because if I cross it out, that means I've used it. And then I won't get confused and I'll stay organized. Now what I want to do is look at the tens digits in the next numbers that are left. I have a 2, a 3, a 1, and a 2. So I'm going from smallest to biggest. So I started with 0. Are there any numbers that have a 1 in the 10 spot? Yeah, the number 14. So we're going to write the number 14 on the next line, and we're going to cross off the number 14. Now, here's where it gets tricky because I have two numbers that have a 2 in the tens place because we started with 0, then we went to 1, now we're at 2. I have 29, but I also have 24. Now, I've told you before, if you look at the tens place and the tens place has the same number, then you have to go to your ones place. So I have a 9 here, but I have a 4 here. Which one is smaller? If you said the 4, you'd be absolutely right. So 24 is going to be my next number, and I'm going to cross that one off. And then I'm going to write the 29 and cross that one off, which leaves me only with the 38 left. And think about it, the 38, the 3 is the highest number in the 10 spot. So I'm going to put the 38 here and cross off 38. And what this does is it puts our numbers in from smallest to largest, or I could say least to greatest, but it also tells me that I've used all of my numbers. Now, who can be smart enough to tell me how I'm going to do from greatest to least? How is this one going to be easier to do now that we've done this? Boy, you guys are smart. That's right. So if we look at this, isn't going from greatest to least going to be the exact opposite of this? So think about it. We said this was our biggest number, right? So I know that 38 is going to come first. and I can go ahead and cross off the 38. And if I go backwards from what I used here, 29 should be my next one, then 24, then 14, then 7. And let me take a look. Let's take a look real quick at that. So I'm going to put the 29, I'm going to cross it off. I'm going to put the 24, cross it off, the 14, cross that one off, and then 7. But let's take a look and make sure that we're right about this. So if I take a look, I have a 3 in my tens. Is that the biggest number in the tens? Yep. And then we go to our twos. So I have 29 and 24. Is 29 bigger? Yes, it is. So I record both of those. Then I go down to a 1 in my 10 spot, and then I go to the number that doesn't have anything in the 10 spot. And that's how you put it from greatest to least. And that leads me into your work for today. So you're going to be opening up your workbooks to page number 28 and 29, okay? 28 looks like this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be working on letter A. So, it shows you a picture. Now, each one of them doesn't show you a picture. Some of them do give you the numbers. But if they tell you, here's the picture, what number do I have? Or if they say I have 2 10s and 8 1s, I want you to write the number underneath. So let me show you what I mean. So on this side, I have 2 10 sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the number 20 under here because I have 10, 20. Over here, I have 1 10 stick and 8 1s. 1 10 stick and 8 1s, so 18. Now, I need to figure out, is it greater than, less than, or equal to? So I start from this side. Remember, left to right. 20 is, that's right, greater than 18. So in the line here, you're going to write is greater than. So you're going to get your practice. Whoop, I made a mistake. So you're going to get your practice with writing as well. Okay? So that's what you're going to do on that page. On page 29, that continues on the top. But here's where it's going to go over what we just did. So let's go over number 3 together. So if we take a look at number 3, we have numbers again. And it's the number 9, 40, 32, 13, and 23. And again, this one's asking us for the smallest or the least to the biggest or the greatest number, okay? So, which number comes first? Well, I already told you that if there's a 1-digit number and all the rest are 2-digit numbers, that's going to be your first number. That's going to be your smallest number. So in this case, it's a 9, and we're going to cross off the 9. But what comes next? Take a look at the tens digits and see what is the next smallest number. If you said the 1 in 13, you're absolutely right. So 13 is going to be your next number. So go ahead and record 13 and cross off the 13. Now we have 40, 32, and 23 left. You'll notice that they put 32 and 23 and they're going to try to trick you. But you're not going to get tricked. So I want you to take a look at your tens. We did 0 in the tens. We did 1 in the tens. Now, which one has 2 in the tens? That's right, it's that 23. So we're going to write 23 and cross that off. That leaves us with 40 and 32. So we're looking at 3s in the tens, so that would give us our 32. And it leaves us with 40. I don't think it's too hard. I think you'll be able to get it with no problem. If you do have problems, please, please, please reach out and let us know you have problems. And also make sure your parents send copies to your teachers so that we can check it out, and then we can have some discussions with you when we do our calls. All right, that's it for now.